Yeah, I want to talk about this drone policy, and I think that was great what Rand Paul did, Senator Rand Paul did from the state of Kentucky about the filibuster, which went on for about 12 hours. But I'm going to tell you this, man. You know, you can have Eric Holder say, well, it's unconstitutional to use drones against Americans on American soils that aren't combatants. Big deal, he says that. Where's the counter check to this? That's the problem. You know, that's where I see the real... You know, in other words, when the American government, the U.S. government was set up, we had the checks and balances. In other words, we had the Bill of Rights, but also we had the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights that gave the Bill of Rights teeth. And then we also have the division of powers in the government and the limit of scope of government, which is supposed to be by the Constitution. But, you know, God, that goes way beyond it in practice. But, you know, since Eric Holder says, oh, it's unconstitutional, but... the problem is it's being run by the CIA. A lot of good that's going to freaking do as far as checks and balances. In other words, the CIA is not supposed to operate in the United States. But then we know also in Arkansas, Mena, Arkansas, maybe some people don't know who see this, but all about the drug trafficking that was coming in during the time when Bill Clinton was governor of that state in Arkansas. And it was in conjunction with people in the CIA bringing it in. So if they have the power to use these drones, can they abuse the power? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's almost like saying, you know, all the police and the military can't do this, but nobody should have guns, and then they can do whatever they want anyway, right? It's like somebody telling you something, but they still have the power to do it anyway. And I got to point something out about John McCain. He's very critical of Rand Paul. John McCain, you know, I've been reading about him for decades, actually going back to, you know, the USS Forrestal, you know, which actually used to call the USS Forest Fire. And, you know, he had a lot to do with that accident that happened, that all those people died. Actually, he crashed 5 planes, as far as what I've been reading. But I used to read also about him. He was a POW himself. And later on, they put McCain in charge of the POW committee. Read many articles years ago from Michael Bench, who was a POW himself, basically proving that McCain was sweeping the POWs from Vietnam under the rug, and so they could normalize relations with Vietnam, and then they could sell condos on a beach, and Nike shoes can get in there and get cheap labor, you know, to make shoes and stuff like that. So McCain is like a piece of crap from day one. And, you know, Daddy McCain, which I think was like the first father-son team, first father-son to actually be like 4-star, you know, admirals, you know. Daddy McCain had everything to do with the incident with the USS Liberty in 1967, where it was attacked by unmarked Israeli planes, and they were trying to sink it to the bottom to get a war going against the Arabs and blame it on them. But a Russian trawler turned up, and, you know, they saw the incident, saw what was going on, so they had a split. But basically, Daddy McCain had everything to do with making sure that ship wasn't defended, along with President Johnson. So these guys, you know, John McCain is the type of Republican that is totally in the hip pocket of the elite in this country. And actually, I imagine most people in the military that probably were around him, they probably want to puke. I mean, he's in with, you know, when you always have this father-son team that's like, you know, they're both 4-star admirals and stuff. You know, that's kiss-ass bullshit all the way. And here this guy crashes 5 planes and almost burns down a whole freaking aircraft carrier. He's a work of art. And later on, when he's the head of the POW committee, he's selling out the POWs. Well, this is the guy, remember, this is the kind of shit that criticizes Rand Paul. And, you know, it looks almost like you got a little bit of victory there, because Eric Holder says, oh, we can't, it's unconstitutional. Well, it's unconstitutional to bring drugs into Mena, Arkansas, too, right? CIA can't do that, too, right? But they do it. So where's the checks and balances, you know? The stupid drone program, it's almost like, you know, I'd say probably most people, average people, no matter what political, because I don't want to get political, this is all about human rights and Bill of Rights. I don't like stupid politics because, like, just pointed out, you got one Republican over there that's Rand Paul, and you got another Republican like John McCain, and they're total opposites. Total opposites. So, you know, you vote for the party, you're getting McCain in there too. So I don't like getting political. It's all about human rights, civil rights. And, you know, John McCain, he would shred all the civil rights that were given to Americans, you know, for a long time, you know, over the years. And, you know, if you look back, even during the time of World War II, look what they did to the Japanese, man. You know, a lot of people almost, they know about it, but they don't think about it. But you think they can't do that again? They could do that to anybody. You know? That's why you got to watch. George Washington was right. You know, it's like government is like force. It's fire. You know, it's a fearful servant, and it's a, you know, it's a hellacious master. So, you know, you got to watch. And, you know, the fact that they got the drones and they keep producing the damn things to use on American soil, basically, to look for terrorists, means they can pretty much do anything they want anyway. Right? So, it's like, you know, he did some good there, but that ain't good enough, man. This is one program that, you know, people ought to be very wary of, because it doesn't matter what political persuasion you're of. But because, like, you'll find Democrats that are, like, you know, for and against it. You'll find Republicans for and against it. It kind of doesn't go along party lines. But pretty much, if you're for this drone program being used in the United States the way they want, and this guy, you know, the type of people they want to have running the CIA to, you know, torture people, you can assume that it's going to be put to bad ends. They're going to use it in a bad way. So, you know, I don't know what that, you know, it's almost like, man, I wish I could actually say stupid drones up there, you know, shoot the damn thing down. But, you know, nobody's got the capability of doing that type of stuff. But, you know, there should be some other checks and balances for this damn drone program where civilians can actually come in, or press, you know, Associated Press or whatever can come in, and independent parties can come in and examine what's going on with it and how it's being used and how it's being abused. Because, you know, what happens if Americans' civil rights are violated by this drone program? You know, what recourse do they have? What are they going to go? Go to the CIA? Or are they going to go to Eric Holder? Eric Holder, who brings in guns and drugs from freaking Mexican drug cartel. You're going to trust that piece of garbage? You're going to go to John McCain? You know, who are you going to go to? Who are you going to go to? It's like, if you didn't have this stupid drone program, it ain't good enough to have some verbal assurances. You have to have something where there's going to be a body that's going to independently investigate it in a recourse to get to it. You know? Because drones are actually run by people. And, you know, that operator sits back there and he pulls the trigger on some American, you know, sitting back in his easy chair. You know, if later on you can say, you know, that guy committed murder, hey, if you got a recourse to say who did it, and you could put him on trial for committing murder, I mean, that would straighten the system out in a heartbeat fast, you know? Because, you know, where's the checks and balances, really, is my point on a drone program. Verbal assurance isn't good enough. It's not good enough. You know, the drone program's got to have a lot of checks and balances, just the way the Constitution was formed in the United States, and we have the 3 branches of government, and that type of stuff. Because the average American ain't going to be able to do crap against the drone, you know? I mean, really. You know, you know, what are you going to do? Shoot laser lights at it or some shit? Try to blind it or something? I mean, really, what are you going to do? You know, some idiot in the drone department decides, you know, they got the wrong guy. They ain't even going to ask you. They're probably just going to shoot you, right? From 10,000 feet above. So, I got to talk, you know, I got to say this about this thing, though. They need to have severe oversight of this damn program. And, you know, it's going to have to be something right from the civilian area, you know, not from the government itself, because that's almost like the police investigating itself. You know, the police commit crimes, the police do wrong things. Hey, you know, LAPD does this and that. They investigate it. What happens? Nothing. Nothing. It's bullshit, right? So it's going to have to actually come from a civilian authority outside the government that has the power to investigate and get access to the drone files or who did what if there's some kind of accusation of wrongdoing going on. It's not good enough to say it's just unconstitutional, because that doesn't mean shit. Words don't mean nothing. If you give a criminal a shotgun, he says, yeah, I'm going to shoot you with this. That's what you're doing with these people with the drones, right? It's stupid. Just use a little common sense. There actually has to be something outside the government that actually looks at this drone program. And, probably some of the better people probably would be, the people in the media. So, and by the way, there's a drone cat walking by here, so he's he's got golden eyes, so that's good luck. Gold's the way to place to be. But anyway, yeah, in the future, drones are going to get pretty wild. Actually, I just talked about a cat. You see the tail go by, but that's probably what it's going to be in the future too. It might take some years, but they'll probably have like a stray dog walking around that's a freaking drone. It's some freak on the other side trying to find criminal activity. Talk about Big Brother. That's bullshit. So, anyway, it's we actually have the Orwellian society coming up right now. This is bullshit. I don't like it, to tell you the truth. I ain't gonna say what I do, but I think drones still, they're still flammable. They still blow up if you throw a match in a gas tank. So, hey, whatever. Just there's something gonna work against them. Just keep your wits about you and that type of stuff. But there's got to be some kind of independent oversight over this stupid drone program. Eric Holder's words of assurance that it's unconstitutional to kill Americans. That doesn't mean shit. I mean, if you asked him, is it constitutional to bring in Mexican drug cartel firearms and no, it's not, right? So he did it anyway, right? Actually, what he needs is independent oversight and something from outside the government. Something from outside the government. That's this is something else I think that the Anti-Defamation League ought to look at, because I think they're a little calm right now because a lot of these programs aren't aimed at Jews or nothing, but they could be in the future. You don't want anybody having that kind of power, man. You don't want to have anybody having that kind of power. And, you just stick with everybody has their individual rights protected, and that's the law of the land. And we have checks and balances on how that's accomplished.